Oh.
Somebody wanna let them...
I got him.
Yeah.
I was gonna let him sit there for a minute.
He had. Oh no, he doesn't have keys. He hasn't
No,
talked to
he
Wise
doesn't
Old Man
have
yet.
Okay, they don't have their keys.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
Yeah, I was the only one awake for when the wise man was roaming around Valentine.
I was told I needed to pick on another person to get keys.
You do whatever you need to do.
Damn, it sure is quiet in here.
Can you hear us, Silo?
I can hear you.
Okay, making sure.
Yeah, it looked like Governor was talking, but I couldn't
We did.
hear.
No, Governor was not talking.
That was real.
Yeah, no, he was just licking his lips.
I could, if we're introducing ourselves, I could probably introduce myself to the group of you, to those who know me. I am the Pinkerton director, Jericho McCaffrey, some of you already may know me. I will do my best to assist any of you in any way I can. I've already been sort of doing that with stores. I've been going around helping out stores where I can, when I can, how I can. Other than that, you guys know how the Pinkertons run. And if you need me, you'll probably find me here or any of the surrounding towns. There.
And I'm Agent William Davis.
There you go.
Well, I guess I'll fall in suit. I am the Honorable Beauregard J. Hosenfat. That's G. The G is silent. I will be working in the Court District of West Elizabeth or wherever the law calls me to. Thank you so much.
Your turn, Silo.
Yeah, for those of you that I haven't met, I'm Silo Knight. I'm the Sheriff of West Elizabeth.
Alexander Barker, currently deputy of Des Moines and somewhat West Elizabeth. The little lady to my left would be my wife, Guy.
Sheriff of Des Moines, Serena Hunt. Most of you know me as Murphy from a while back, but I really don't care what you call me anymore.
Okay, boss.
Swear to God, I will kneecap you.
It's about all you can reach.
There's a joke
I
there
said
that I'm
kneecap.
gonna leave alone.
Oh, Lord.
You know what? Screw it. I don't even care what happened. Howdy there, little Murphy.
Fucking God, you're gonna get it tonight.
That's your husband. That's on you.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Ryan. You're gonna get it tonight.
Just remember, if he doesn't come
Rail's
to work,
somewhat
it's
like
because of
Sweetie
her.
Pink Cube. And you rather have me in one piece?
Next.
Well, I'm Governor Tinker. I'm pretty sure most of them know me. I think there's only, what, 2 folks I ain't met
I have no clue who
prior to
you are.
now.
Who are you?
This big bearded man just hired me.
Yep.
Who is this
Yeah, for those of you who don't know me, well, most of y'all in here probably know me, but side note, Deputy of New Hanover, Clinton Hunt.
And there's that damn awkward silence again.
Uh-oh.
You good there, Silo?
You haven't heard anything Chief Justice has been saying?
I don't even see the Chief Justice.
Oh, shit.
Chief Justice, you might want to stop writing your book and move around a little.
Probably.
There she
How about
is.
now?
Oh
There
my
you
goodness.
go.
There you go.
We haven't
That's
been able to see her this entire time.
You
It-
camouflaged
It
yourself
happens.
behind the book.
It's
what
a
happens
thing.
when I bury my face in a book.
Yeah, I know that
so-
feeling.
So what I had said, Sheriff Knight, is that I am Chief Justice Genevieve King. I handle most of the federal aspects as well as the new Austin stuff as we get it integrated into the state. And I also fill in for my judges if and when they need me. If you all need my support, you can easily reach me through Telegram. Many of you have already done so, so you know I'm pretty quick to get back. We figured that with this meeting, you all would get to kind of discuss the issues you might have in your counties, ideas you have, ordinances, basically any of the concerns that we need to meet with. Then I guess Governor Tinker and myself will basically address those concerns or talk about ideas that we might possibly have, and we can go from there. I would love to make these meetings a regular thing, just so we could touch base an entire organization, essentially, to make sure that everyone is on the same page and things that need to be adjusted can be adjusted.
Excellent.
So are you thinking bi-weekly or monthly?
Maybe monthly. If we need to do more frequently, we can do that. But I think monthly is always good, just because it gives us, the full month to look at instead of just immediate issues that we can solve immediately, if that makes sense.
I'm in agreement with it.
That sounds good to me.
Yeah, thanks, Joe. No
Nice,
pressure at
Joe.
all.
Nice.
There you go, little bit. It's all up to you.
Okay.
Welcome to being the big balls.
Don't make it. They'll make me decap you. Harry moves away from him.
Both of them move away from you. That's
Alright,
great.
so I'll start off. We already touched base on the carcass issue that we're having.
Mm-hmm.
I know, Silo, you were, if you want to put in, you weren't here for that conversation. How you feel about people and the animals being left in next to the butcher and whatnot? And I know you were there at that situation last night. If you would like to explain your side of things to the Chief Justice and Governor, please.
Governor, I got a letter off to you. Hope you received it.
Yes, sir.
Excellent. My biggest concern is the fact that these damn carcasses, they start rotting. We can't do anything with them because they weigh too damn much. And it's creating a very unsafe environment for my citizens.
We had, 3 wolf packs attack?
Yeah, we had 3 wolf pack attacks in Strawberry in just a very short amount of time. And luckily for 2 of them, we were in town and able to address it quickly. But it was something that could have been completely avoided and not put the general population in danger. Governor, you and the Chief Justice both know I want every person within my county to be safe. I want to be able to live their lives, do their hunting, mine their ores, do farming, whatever they like to do. But you know, they need to be considerate of others, and I can't have them damn carcasses laying around like that. It's going to get somebody killed.
Now, since it seems that the biggest issue for the carcasses is residing in Strawberry, we could use Strawberry as a test and come up with a solution and put it in effect and see how well it goes. And then once it does, if it shows any results of working, we can move it to the other county or other towns.
I did write up a proposed ordinance that I sent with that letter to the governor.
Mm-hmm.
That would be my recommendation, is create a good deterrent and just keep it at a fine. I really don't want to be tying up jail cells with folks that aren't committing bad crimes, but have it be an ordinance that would enhance if someone is found to be violating it multiple times. Start off with a pretty hefty fine of $20. See if that corrects the issue. If that does not correct the issue, then we would need to look at something more penalizing, such as putting them into the county jail for a day or something. But realistically, I couldn't see somebody being in jail for a long period of time over something like that, just being careless. Unless, of course, it led to someone being injured or killed. But that would be my proposition, is let's start with a steep fine and then progress it up from there.
Now, I had a counter proposition to that. No offense, Silo.
Oh, what you got?
Not many people understand that they cannot, move the carcass after they skin it. There are some people who will make mistakes. We could give them, of course, a warning, explain the situation to them and why they can't do it, and just keep it out in the woods outside of town limits. After that, I was thinking $15 per carcass we catch them just leaving in town. Because right now, everyone knows money's hard right now, and if you put it into a prospect where they're going to lose more money than what they're bringing in, they will be more deterred not to do it, or at least follow the town ordinance.
That's true. What's the going rate at the butcher right now for an elk?
$14 at Strawberry, so that's why I had 15.
Yeah, I was gonna say it does depend on where you're selling them.
Well, if we're just doing Strawberry, then it would go off just a Strawberry butcher, which is 14, which they would technically only be losing $1.
So see, like in Strawberry, the $20 fine amount would be good because that would be them losing the 14 that they would have received from the butcher, plus an actual $5 penalty.
$6 penalty.
Oh yes, sorry, $6. But you know, I'm not opposed to giving folks a warning and explaining why they can't do that. And then of course they do it again. Yes, I'm gonna slap them upside the head with that law book.
Well, I think that'd be a good compromise to finding this whole thing, because it seems like it's more of an issue of ignorance than anything's causing this. So,
Yes, sir.
if we all come to the understanding that it's, a warning, that way everybody gets that benefit of the doubt, and then if they're caught doing it again after that point, then it's on them, and
Yes,
it's
sir.
going to start costing their billfolds. Then I think that might be the best way to kind of go about it. And I don't necessarily think we need to limit that to just Strawberry. We just need to make those fines in relation to what they're selling per city, if that makes sense.
Yes, sir.
Per town.
And you know, there's only a few of them damn carcasses that
Yeah.
become quite a pain, and we have to wait for them to decay.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean,
Which would be the gators, the elk, and the black bear. And if anyone could catch a moose, those are very rare to find, but you could
Yeah.
do that with them.
Yeah.
Those are the biggest ones. Which, if I'm correct, the gator, I want to say is $10.
I think
Hey,
Flynn said that was right.
I can go out here, go hunt a gator, go drop the butcher here in a minute, and tell you how much
Well,
it is.
So why don't we tentatively do this, then? You guys all find your prices, and we'll base the fines off of that.
Yes, sir.
But I think that, and tell me if you agree with this, Chief Justice, that the warning, first offense, the fine, second offense, then the fine can continue to grow as you see fit, and possible jail time for repeating offenses.
Well, technically, if you want to be technical about it, because I keep the law book on hand in my back pocket because, it's me. I did take a look at it quickly, glancing through it while I was trying to figure things out. If they keep doing it, at some point that's disturbing the peace because they're just causing issues at that point,
Mm-hmm.
if you're being technical.
That is true. I mean, it creating a disturbance of the peace by drawing in dangerous critters,
Yeah.
and plus the smell is atrocious. I don't know if y'all have the same problem down here in St. Denis, but I know up at Old Strawberry we can't exactly get a bath every day.
Well, it's reaching a little bit, but if you wanted to get technical with it, if somebody was to get injured or hurt for their negligence, they could also be charged with manslaughter if someone dies.
But that's in severe cases, which
That's
I
a
don't see
stretch.
happening.
That is a pretty big stretch.
This
Yeah.
is the thing, and I don't want us to just punish people for the sake of punishing people because they're, breaking an ordinance.
Right.
And that's the thing that we need to understand is that ordinances are not laws; they're just ordinances. We can fine people for minimum amounts with ordinances, but at the end of the day, we can't do outrageous punishments for the sake of deterring. I like the idea of giving people warnings because, again, it is sometimes people just don't know. There are many, many, many new hunters into the state. The other thing, and then, of course, finding people according to what they are selling. We can, and we just want you guys to encourage people to be aware of the ordinances as well, which comes on to you guys, which is, making sure people know, like, when you go into Lemoyne County, this is the ordinance. If you go into New Hanover, this is what you're going to expect. Same thing with West Elizabeth and New Austin. People need to know the ordinances so they can actually follow them. And I don't think people know them yet.
Chief Justice,
So, yes?
would you have any opposition if we wrote up a real nice letter with all of our ordinances on them and post them in our counties.
I am fine with that. I just want people to know. If you make your ordinances, like if you make a flyer, or if you write up a letter, put it out there for people to know. Otherwise, people are going to send disgruntled letters, talking about how they don't understand why they're getting in trouble for something that they didn't know about. And then, of course, we get, the other side of the story, which is you guys telling them, and then they apparently were just disrespectful and didn't care, which is another issue, but that's not just because of the pelt thing. But, so I highly encourage warning and minimal fines. We don't want people to think that they are being robbed by the law.
Would whatever they get from the pelts or animals plus $5 on top of that, would that be my tongue is tied, appropriate?
I would say so, because by the time they're getting that, they had already obtained a warning. So you want it to hurt their pocket, not too bad.
Yeah, I mean, it takes quite a bit of work to earn $5, so...
Mm-hmm.
So what they make from the animal they have left behind plus $5 tacked onto that, depending on which animal they get.
Yep. I think that's a good, solid, straightforward way for everybody to have a unified fine going straight across the board. Each butcher sells it for different prices, but you guys are fining it the same amount no matter what it is. So I think that's a good idea.
With the town ordinances and all that, if I'm being perfect honest, I know there are people that are very simple-minded like I am, to where if they get a long explanation, they're not gonna understand. So simplify the town ordinances down. Make it maybe 1 or 2 sentences at max. And then use the state notice board. It's there for a reason.
We can handle that.
Post them up, get them out there.
Shouldn't be too hard.
Nah, we can get that accomplished. It'll just take a couple hours work.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Well, and honestly, as an enhancer, if somebody was to commit a violation, what would technically be the third, instead of looking to toss them in the jail cell for a little bit, it might even be quite a deterrent to just confiscate their hunting rifle.
Or, better yet, since we are having issues for materials for doctors and such, they can do community service to gather a certain amount of items to give to the doctors or the gunsmiths.
I have a question.
Yes.
So let's say that you have an individual that is out here and has done this, and you have officially warned him, and then he goes, say, 10 minutes away and does the same thing, and he comes against another young officer and receives another warning, and then et cetera, etc. I mean, we know that the telephone isn't, even though the wires are up, it's not the most efficient way of communication.
Yes, sir.
My suggestion would be is to leave the warning discretionary and just make it, if they wanted to, in regards of the reasonableness of the law, you would be able to find them on their first offense, and the departments would come up with their own ways and methods of being able to effectively do a warning system.
I think probably the best thing to do, we could just write up a list and leave it at the office. I know of my deputies, I've got some go on duty in Strawberry, and I got a couple that like to go on duty in Blackwater, so I could write the list each day when I make my rounds and drop it off, and then if somebody adds to it, we can just take a copy of the updated one back to the other office.
Oh, sure. I'm just saying, as far as you've got a solution for West Elizabeth, but how is West Elizabeth going to know who New Hanover has warned, etc., etc., you see?
Well, realistically,
I
since it's
could
an
easily
ordinance,
get that fixed through our paperwork, our shared paperwork. I could put in a section where we can put in if who's had warnings for, or what, and have a pretty much persons of interest almost section, but it's more of a warnings list set up. See who's already been warned about things, and once they've gone past their warning, their name is removed to keep it from being cluttered.
Sure. My suggestion would be just a blanket warning from the government listing what animals can and cannot be killed.
As far as I know,
There's
there are
no
none that
limit on
are.
that.
Yeah, I don't think we have anything on an endangered list.
No,
We
what
do
I'm
not.
saying is you're having a problem with the carcasses, yes?
Correct.
Some carcasses cannot be sold.
No. The specific four would be the moose, the black bear, the elk, and the gator.
That'll also be boar, but you can't move boar.
Yeah, you can't move a boar once you've slaughtered them. Same with
What?
grizzlies.
What they're doing, their judge, is basically roping the elk or black bear carcass and basically dragging it into town, skinning it there right at the butcher. And then once you skin it at the butcher, the carcass cannot then be moved.
And is there for 5 days till it is has rotten fully, which if it's right at the butcher, that can contaminate his food supply that he has there and anyone who turns in anything.
Oh, truly, and I do see, and I heard earlier that somebody said that somebody was quite snippy with somebody being polite on asking them to move. That's why I say my suggestion would be just a public notice, effective immediately, have it set up somewhere where somebody can see it, and address the carcass issue, and leave it discretionary, because I can see, just as call it a little foresight, how our implementation of a warning could get skewed and misplaced and miscommunicated, where it could still be discretionary. You have the tool there available to you. It's your choice whether you implement it or not, you see.
You are correct. We could put up a notice on the notice boards informing the entire state that this would be going into effect, and this is basically their warning.
Another thing that would deter hunters from leaving carcasses would be talking to all the butchers and dropping the prices for the bigger animals.
Well,
We're not going to be doing that.
and with putting out a single notice, if it was addressed from the state, wouldn't that lead folks to believe that that was a law coming into effect versus an ordinance for each county?
Not if you word it to where it states that it is a ordinance, not a law.
Yes, as long as it's not created as a law, and one that does not supersede any serious misdemeanor nor egregious into a felony, it should not be an issue.
I gotcha. I'm good with it either direction. I just need to know what y'all need me to accomplish.
Well, I think we had a pretty good, nice, simple solution with the warning and then the fines from there.
Yeah, because I certainly don't want folks suffering because of it, but I also don't need them running around creating problems for everybody else.
I'd say that's fair. Do you agree with that, Chief Justice?
I do. I do agree
Better
with
watch
that.
your step, Frenchman.
Please,
Governor.
Please don't beat up the guest.
That ain't no guest of mine, I can tell you that right now.
Gets rowdy, I'll deal with him.
I can haul him out back. That ain't no problem.
I think let's try the warning system first. Let's try that. If we see that is still being neglected, then we will absolutely work on escalating it forward. If it is something that people are not going to listen to because it's not a law and it's just an ordinance, there are proper ways of proposing bills that can be signed into the state.
All right.
Excuse you, sir.
Buddy boy.
Yes, please. Someone escort him outside. Jericho?
I'll get him. Come on. Oh. Yeah. Oh my. He's a slipper dusted.
There you are.
I'll solve that slippery.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll continue on with the meeting. I got him. Oh, you got him?
I got you, sir.
That's okay.
Continue on.
Oh,
At
wait.
least it was like that. I'm got it.
I appreciate it. We'll just toss him out back.
Yes, let's attempt that first. See how it is received. If it needs to be escalated forward, we'll go from there.
Oh, there's my keys. There they are.
And again, just a simple notice stating that, you know, the ordinances and including that in the ordinances will be good.
Oh, close your eyes.
Oh. Here, I get him.
Meet you back inside.
Make sure you all kind of stretch your legs and all of that so you don't become silent like I did.
My apologies, Chief Justice.
No, you're fine.
What are you pointing at?
I don't know what she is.
I think she's pointing at where Hunt was standing, where he went to take a nap.
Yeah, I think he got a little bit of a headache. Okay, so what's the next item on the agenda?
We are curious if there is already something in state for how prison transports are to be handled. No one has explained that to, I believe, any of us. So if there is a way that you've already thought of doing this, Genevieve?
As of right now, from what we've been told from, you know, the government, is that whenever you sentence someone to Sisika, they will be escorted there very quickly, if that makes sense.
Yes, we're meaning if someone requests a actual physical transport by the deputies.
So, since the transport would be from, let's say, let's say they're coming from Sisika to go to like a court date, or a trial or anything like that, they would be escorted by your deputies, unless obviously it needs to be handled by either Pinkertons or Marshals, depending on the resources around, and they would be escorted to the county in which the crime was committed. So if they committed a crime in New Hanover, your group would escort them to New Hanover, and then your individuals would intercept.
So our question is say there is a criminal wanting transport from the jail cells, say in New Hanover, say Valentine, to Sisika, would Lemoyne go to pick them up, or would New Hanover meet us somewhere and do a transfer, or be the ones to transfer them to Sisika?
Oh, welcome back.
Good morning, dear.
Honestly, I don't believe because
If you don't know anything, we have come up with an idea between the sheriffs, if you would like to hear it, if that helps you.
The issue is that as of right now, to get to Sisika, it's actually just not possible. We are still working on getting boat transports into the state, and then of course, with how Sisika is, it's very difficult to get into without just automatically getting someone there.
Well, if I may, ma'am, we were thinking of having Lemoyne go pick them up at whichever jail cell they may be, and bring them to the docks in St. Denis and have a local boat come and pick them up and take them to Sisika from there. Would that suffice for you?
It might be possible. Again, it also, whenever they are sentenced to Sisika, it adds the jail time for them. So if we were to have like a local boat take them, I don't know if it would give them the jail time.
Even if we were to say, this may seem a lot, but jail them at the docks, is what I'm getting at.
We'll have to see if we can do that. Again, we haven't really been able to flesh any of that out yet.
Lady Justice.
I volunteer as tribute.
Lady Justice.
Yes.
Because I do not know how it was done, and I'm coming from, just some personal knowledge, wouldn't cross-jurisdictional transport be done by the Marshal Service?
Typically, yes. That way the deputies can focus on, the day-to-day, whereas the marshals would do the cross-district transports.
Well, that would actually be better.
Yeah, they would do the federal transport care, take care of the prisoners, and also court security, would they not?
Mm-hmm. That is true. So, and that will actually give the marshals things to do besides just handling the federal cases. They can actually do the escorts, and that way your deputies, like I said, don't have to worry about that, and they can continue maintaining the peace within the towns, because you already have significant areas to cover as deputies and sheriffs.
That would be helpful, because all we gotta do is hand them the paperwork on how long they're going, and just be like, here, and I'm going back on duty.
Yep,
and
pretty
if
much.
it was a person that potentially somebody might try to break out, we can always send a deputy or two to escort with the marshals to the county line and have the next county pick them up there.
Mm-hmm. We can also, and this is where Pinkertons can also come in handy, is they can be hired out as private escorts as well for the marshals.
Excellent. So I think that ought to give us quite a bit of resources available if we do have a rather nasty individual that we need to get transported.
And also answers my question for my next answer is how the Rangers going to be doing person transports with us. They work with the marshals anyway, so that's not our problem.
One thing I would like to put in. Let me remember, it just slipped off my tongue, actually. Shit, what was I going to say?
Raise your hand when you're ready.
Yeah. Right, sorry, I remember. One thing I would like to make clear about sentencing and all that sort of stuff is always, if you are sentencing them, give them the option to work it off. We really want to make use of those chain gangs, because given what you've seen how stores have been recently, they really need those supplies, and what better way to get those supplies than using someone else to get them for free.
I have no.
Currently, I am the chain gang at the moment.
What is?
You're not
What's
the
the
only
issue?
one, sir.
On to the next. There have been questions on if and how bounty hunters will be coming in.
So bounties are open for anyone in the state. You don't have to have a license. There are going to be specific bounties that only you and the marshals and the Pinkertons will have access to, and the Rangers. But those are going to be very high profile, dangerous people that have, attempted treason, or, assassination attempts, things like that. Those are people that you all will have access to specifically. But all other bounties for, let's say, debt collection, non-violent crimes, bills that are owed, all this kind of stuff, that'll be posted available for anyone to collect on.
Okay, that goes on to my next question. I know of not just myself, but I know Silo's had it too, where doctors have asked us how they plan to be getting their overdue fines paid.
So essentially what they do is they can bill those individuals. If those people do not have the funds, or if they refuse to pay, all they do is submit a request to their local sheriff's department to obtain this information, or not information, these funds from those individuals from the from that sheriff's department. They would need to provide the person's information as far as, name, description, and how much the bill is for, and then the sheriffs can put out bounties for that in their local area. Now, as
Are you
far as
talking about something similar as a warrant, Lady Chief?
I'm almost because you could sign warrants for a lot of other things, but a bounty would be specifically for you to bring them in to either serve time or, well, I guess it's similar to a warrant. So yeah,
Now you would have to have a warrant first.
yes.
What if we looked at it more as a subpoena?
Well, a subpoena is to go to court.
And essentially, since it's not a true criminal offense at the moment, if they're willing to take care of their fines, technically we would just be subpoenaing them versus going after them with a warrant. Because a warrant, I'd have to be bothering my judge all the damn time.
Well, this judge
That's
is
their
more than
job.
happy to give you the warrant, sir. Just all I need is my probable cause, you see. And
The
it's
thing
been
is you would have to bug a judge or bother a judge for a subpoena as well, because we have to be the ones to sign it and draft it, and then we have to have you personally as the sheriff escort it to the person. It would be honestly easier to sign it off as a warrant, put the bounty out for the collection of the debt, and then go from there. Now, if someone is accumulating a significant amount of debt, let's say, a few $100s, doctors and businesses could hire out Pinkertons to collect that debt as well.
So, in a sense, the doctors would bring us, say, the bill of the patient, the records of what happened to prove they had done the work on the person. We put out a warrant with the amount basically that is owed to the doctor for bounty hunters to bring it to us.
Yes.
Okay, I just want to try to simplify it in case, I have any other deputies that are not as detailed as you and I may be.
And just one question, Chief Justice.
Yes.
With these, are we going to treat them as a low-level warrant where we would only enforce it within the county in which it was issued? Or would we address these, like if I happen to deal with somebody in West Elizabeth and I have a telegram saying they've got a warrant for past due medical bills out of St. Denis?
Well, I think the difference would we'd have to differentiate between a criminal warrant and a civil warrant, you see.
Because that'd be my question. I mean, I'll arrest somebody that's got a valid warrant, but
The other question that arises on it, though, is if we're going to place bounty hunters out for these unpaid fines and things, then we have to pay the bounty hunters as well when they collect the person, correct?
correct.
So we're going to be out of money for paying the bounty hunters to collect the debts for the doctors.
You wouldn't be paying the bounty hunters.
Will we not?
No, you will not. The government will be paying them.
Okay.
Yes.
No, that makes that easier.
So you all will not have to pay for that unless you absolutely feel like you would like to. The government will be handling the payments of the bounty hunters because they have to, there are certain protocols obviously with bounty hunters. They can't, bring someone, incapacitated. They can't kill them. They need to bring them. Now, as far as if it would be something that, let's say you get someone that has warrants out in Lemoyne County, Sheriff, and then they are in West Elizabeth, if you would like to send a notice or a telegram stating that you have this person in your possession, you can absolutely do that. You can also attempt to collect the fine that they owe for their warrant, and then you can transfer those funds or deliver those funds to the sheriff's department that they are owed to.
Okay. I can well work with that. I just wanted to make sure that we're doing this the way that y'all would like so that nobody's being treated unfairly.
So, if we do collect on the person from the bounty hunter on, say, medical bills and all that, do we inform y'all?
What I would ask is that you let the bounty, and we will let the people that turn those things in, because we're still
Okay.
working on that as well, whoever collects on that bounty will have to contact either myself or the governor to receive those funds. Now,
Okay.
I don't know if you all have had a chance to look at the bounty boards in your areas, but you can actually put them on there exactly how much you are offering to for these bounties and a description of what it was. Obviously, leave it very short description because if you put too much wording in your letters, it takes up too much of the bounty board. But you could post that there. And then that way people can know, okay, well, you know, Sheriff Relvain posted this bounty, so I need to go turn it into him. And the deputies and the sheriffs can do that. And then you just relay them to either myself or Governor Tinker, and we will pay out those bounty rewards.
So only the sheriffs can put up the bounties, correct?
I think deputies can as well. I am not 1,000% sure, but I believe deputies and sheriffs can both put bounties, and I believe marshals and Pinkertons can as well.
I would
Yeah,
think that would
and
be
rangers.
it would be a more of a deputy approved by sheriff to said do said do.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's something I'll be working out with the sheriff's department in West Elizabeth for sure, but depending on the situation, at least in criminal activity, I'm going to have a warrant before any custodial arrest to be made. At least for felonies, unless say the fluid situation leads to your apprehension immediately.
Yes, sir.
That leads on to the next question on the agenda is how courts will be held and who will be overseeing them. You've already said it would be the marshals and Pinkertons overseeing them, correct?
So, as far as how courts will go, I'm going to encourage, as if we could get plea deals, obviously, let's do plea deals because doing court cases can be a drain on physical resources. Deputies need to be available, marshals, Pinkertons, everyone needs to be available. Now, there will always be at least a Pinkerton at a court case because they have to be there for the judge anyways. They are there for the judge's protection. As far as who oversees the court case, we ask that we receive at least one bailiff from the sheriff's department. And if you are able to supply deputies to be security, if it's like a high profile case or anything like that, then we will encourage, the marshals to become involved to help protect that courtroom. Each county will hold their own court cases, so it won't just be in one central location all the time. And then of course the judge of that location will be the one overseeing the court case unless they absolutely cannot, and then another judge can and will step in. Worst case scenario is I end up being the one stepping in.
Alright. Next on is, this was a question that mostly remains on my end. I don't think any of the other counties besides Silos might have some half-active deputies. We know that we are allowed 5 deputies underneath us. Would it be possible for allow 2 part-time deputies as well who may or may not be, say, in state maybe once or twice, maybe a week at most?
Well, if you're finding that you're needing more help than what they're providing, they might just have to get cut loose if you find somebody a little more suited for the job.
If that's okay with you, we just didn't want to feel discriminatory towards anyone just because they have things they have to do outside of state.
No, the bottom line is that this particular job does have a certain amount of time that is needed to go into it, a reasonable amount, and from the sounds of it, they're going to be able to perform that at this point in time. But if you guys start seeing a greater increase in crime and you're needing more active people, you are fully able, as the sheriff, to terminate them as a deputy and hire on a more active one.
Alright, I just wanted to make sure that was clear, just in case,
Yes.
there was any complaints about us doing such things.
Nope. When people applied, they were told that they would need to be active because that is a crucial part of the state that is needed. And if they can't be available for it, then unfortunately they need to either find another profession, maybe do private security if that's something that they really want to do. They can also be clerks for the sheriff's department and help with the paperwork, kind of like what the bookkeepers do for the medical. And in which case, essentially, I would hire them on as clerks, and they would assist each department. So that way, you are not limited by who is, in your employ. Those are options that they can do. So if you are finding that you have employees that might not be able to do patrols as often, but are very good at paperwork or at least reliable on paperwork, perhaps maybe offer them a clerkship position so they can help assist with paperwork to make sure that it would be standard enough to be able to be used in a court case if need be. I know, Runa, you and I had talked about that previously
Yeah.
about, bringing in a position like that. And I feel like it is a great position to have. That way, really active deputies don't have to be flooded by how well they're doing the paperwork. They can do the preliminary paperwork and then give it to a clerk to be able to fine tune it and make sure that it is proper enough for court if it does go to that court case kind of a deal.
I like that
I will
idea.
definitely be getting me a clerk. I'm tired of paperwork.
Oh, but Rena, you're so good at it.
You are.
Don't
very
even
good
over
at
there,
it.
Sala.
You made me used to do your paperwork.
In all fairness, they are correct.
Runa,
You are good at it.
Runa, I told you when you first signed on, just start from the beginning to the end. I didn't tell you to give me a novel.
Next thing we have on it is, I know this may come to a surprise for both of you. I know some of our deputies are somewhat crossing between counties. I am aware that from when I was hired, you all wanted us to stay pretty much within our own counties.
Yep.
I know that there's been an agreement between myself and Silo, since Barker here lives out in Big Valley, and Silo does have quite a large territory, with Amberino being split between him and New Hanover. And Barker does spend majority of good time out in Big Valley. He's given permissions to Barker to be able to pretty much, as under one of his deputies, keep an eye out in Big Valley for any problems, or if, say, Silo and them were chasing someone and Barker was out there, he'd have permission to help capture the gentleman or woman or whoever it is.
That's not in his jurisdiction to be doing that.
Yeah, and I granted him authority as a special deputy under my department, especially until I can get my other ones trained up. Right now, I only have Mr. Law, and with his residence being out there, it provides an extremely valuable resource.
We are really not going to be having these crossover lines like that. If you need him on an as-case basis, you can reach out to Sheriff Hunt and request him, but beyond that, his jurisdiction does not run beyond the board.
Yes, Governor, I understand. We'll keep it to just case-by-case basis, and when that need arrives, I'll reach out to Miss Runa and make arrangements accordingly.
All right.
And I'll reach out to, or have Rel reach out to us if he feels he needs help along our borders with Emerald Ranch and Van Horn. We know Van Horn is always been known as a hub for criminals.
Mm-hmm.
And with Rel only having himself in Hunt, we were willing to offer some extra patrols up their way just to keep an eye on the area, especially with Emerald Ranch being a very high population of farming right now. They could use some protection as well. But if Rail doesn't say that, things have been calm, they don't need us patrolling that day, then we won't need to go up that way.
If y'all need people, then that's what the Pinkertons are for.
We would just like to try and show the public that even though, yes, we are separate departments, we are still willing to work and help one another and keep a good presence in the eye of the public. In us, showing that we are able to work with one another in and out of each other's counties, we believe would help, at least with that.
Your Honor, if I may, I think one of the things that they're trying to say is just a working mutual aid agreement until everybody's up to staff accordingly. So.
I understand what they're getting at, but I don't want anybody to get it in their mind that that's going to be how things are going to be ran around here.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely. Yes, as we've been discussing, my department has more deputies than both Hanover and West Elizabeth. We've been discussing bringing up the suggestion that for the time being, till there is at least 2 deputies within Hanover and West Elizabeth, that if they have recruits, they're able to ride around with, say, any deputy from any department to try and get them trained to where we can get more deputies out there right now. That's pretty much what we need, to have more hands out of recruitment stage and into deputy stage.
Well, training is fine. If you guys want to have people ride along, just know that they don't have any actual jurisdiction as far as arresting goes in the other counties. But if you want to show them procedures, and, if you want to sign off yourself, Runa, to Silo and say that this recruit has done this, this, and this, he can cross that off his list, get them out there quicker. That's fine. Just make sure that nobody's crossing any lines as far as where their actual jurisdictions go.
Governor, question for you.
Yes, sir.
Especially since we would like to accomplish some joint training so all the deputies, regardless of the county, are on the same page and understanding. Would it be allowable just during training, since they would be with either one of the county sheriffs or a deputy, that they have that authority granted in their training phase in the presence of the actual deputy or the sheriff of the county they're training in?
I mean, if I was to try to okay something like this, it would literally only be with the sheriff. It would not be with the deputy.
Yes, sir. Because, it's the office of the sheriff is one of the oldest, and even the deputies themselves, their authority is derived through the sheriff. Without that office, then they don't even have the authority to arrest. But do you believe that would be acceptable, at least with our potential training arrangement we're looking to establish?
If you guys want to take on recruits underneath yourselves, yes, I would be okay with you guys training them up.
Yes, sir.
And then shipping them back wherever they need to go, but I want that handled by the sheriffs themselves.
Understood, Governor. We can do that.
All right.
I know that pretty much goes for the overview. I know I was wanting to propose adding incident reports for major incidents, nothing for minor. So if, say, something were to happen, say we saw something, we weren't able to catch it, but we want to jot it down as basically a record, if everyone would be okay with having an incident report, even though it's not technically an arrest report, but it's for other deputies to know what is going on.
I don't see why that would be a problem.
I don't think it'd be a problem either, and I think that's actually a great way to also discuss, ordinance violations.
That is it for the overview. That would bring us on to individuals speaking from each sheriff on what they have for their own district alone.
All right, well, we'll start over there with you, Rel, and we'll just work our way around.
Well, again, I honestly would say, and this might go for every department, it's a bit too early to really make assessments on core problems at the present moment as far as things that may arise besides the carcass issue. The only thing that me and Hunt are already seeing running in the problem too is we have a lot of land to cover. New Hanover is probably the biggest piece, and we were wanting to know If we could get in touch with the ranchers as far as maybe getting a department side horses to go along with the department that may better be able to traverse the long terrains back and forth. Because let's just say in the scenario to where something happens in Van Horn and we're in Valentine, that's a hell of a ride for a horse. And that could cause issues as far as getting from point A to point B with even the horses that we have now. So we wanted to know if there was a possible connection that we could possibly get receive better horses from the ranchers as they are coming into interstate. I believe we only have one right now, but just putting that out there.
I mean, you guys are definitely welcome to talk to them and see if they could work with you on something. I know that they've worked with a lot of the private citizens already on some deals, so I don't see any reason why they wouldn't work with you guys either.
Okay.
Governor, do you have any recommendation on which rancher might be a good one to have a conversation with?
Well, I mean, I might be slightly biased on it, but that might just be me. I know that the one in Valentine's been good, but here very shortly, my wife's going to be opening hers up at Beecher's Hope.
Excellent.
I know you'll be able to talk with her.
And Beecher's Hope is definitely a lot more convenient.
If I may, I know the ones in Valentine, the Duke Calm ones, I think they call themselves. Is that them? I think it's them. They are quite well in what they do. But again, yes, Stella is, when she is here, she'll be starting her ranch business. And I believe I will somewhat be helping out with that when I can. So, thumbs up from that.
Sounds like we're going to have quite a few good choices out there.
Mm-hmm.
I have
The ranches
not heard
are in good
anything
hands.
bad about any of the ranchers in the state. So,
Yeah, if they can get my deputies a good, reliable horse that will get them where they need to go, that's my big concern, is that my deputies can get where they need to be.
all right.
Main concern is getting from Valentine to Van Horn, especially at night with all the damn wolves that I'm gonna probably encounter.
Don't forget the murder kitties. You
That
have to go through
too.
murder kitty area too. So you got both of them.
Yeah,
Anger slave.
we'll see about the grizzly.
It looks like Ralph fell asleep, so
Tyler?
back to him if need be.
Well, things in West Elizabeth, aside the carcass issue, have actually been really nice. I had a couple of very small, just verbal disputes that we've been able to assist with, and thankfully we're able to get cleared up rather quickly. They just needed somebody to be a word of wisdom in the situation. But realistically, it's going smoothly. We're working to clear out the wolves as best that we can. But I think with the carcass issue getting addressed, I think I can make a lot more progress there.
Also needs his keys.
Oh, don't worry, we got
I
that
already
on line
slid
now.
him some.
Okay. Just making sure. I'm doing my job.
But honestly, Governor, I can't complain. I've had a lot of good folks that I've met, and I'm very excited for the future of West Elizabeth, and I look forward to working with all the folks within the county.
Good. Glad to hear things are going well.
Yes, sir. Now, I've had the wonderful privilege of interacting with Mr. Barker and his family. They have wonderful plans that I think will be a huge benefit to the county itself, and honestly, even the state eventually. So I'm excited to see where all of that goes. But really, that's about all I've got for West Elizabeth right now.
All right. What do you got for me, Ruda?
So far, Lemoyne's been pretty peaceful. I have to admit, we've had no issues down at the tobacco farm. Everyone has remained cordial and friendly with one another. I have had to help a few people once in a while figure out how to get certain things and get them around state, which I've been giving some cash and some items out of pocket to help some people get started. But to me, it's no real big deal. As is in St. Denis, we've had some patrons over at the Bastille, and so far, even with the alcohol, they've at least remained respectful. so I'm happy about that.
Good.
It's been very cheerful. I know the wagons and the trolley god, as we like to call him, have always been an issue in Saint Denis, which everyone still likes to poke fun at him.
Mm-hmm.
I know I've seen a suspicious act as of recently in Saint Denis that I do need to speak to a store owner about, just to make sure that he is aware of what's going on and what he would like me to do if I were to see this again, along with any of my deputies. But there is a town ordinance I would like to make a, if I'm saying this correct, an amendment to, or an addition to.
All
If
right.
I'm saying that, am I saying that right, Genevieve?
Yes.
Okay. It would go to the, let me bring this up. The town ordinance for brandishing a weapon. I would like to have an addition onto it to where the sheriff can give approval for business owners, and only the owners, to be able to brandish certain weapons. Like, I was recently asked by the gun store owner there if he could use some crates in the back as a way to show people how weapons work, and they do work. I saw that there was no issue with it. The area seemed safe. It was outdoors and still on his property. But I want to pretty much make sure that I had the authority, because once I went through my ordinances, I saw that I did not have said authority to do this. I did send a letter to the judge that resides over my county for a letter of approval to allow it. I'm still waiting on him to get back whether he's going to sign it or not.
Yeah, I don't see any problem with that myself. I mean, as far as any of the ordinance goes, as long as you guys are, running it by me to make sure there ain't anything, too drastic with it or anything, I trust all of you guys. That's why, you're the sheriffs right now, because I knew that all you guys would get the jobs done.
Yes, sir.
So, I definitely am putting the trust in you to use your best judgment on that. And it sounds like he's just going to be kind of showing off the guns like I used to do out behind the store, so ain't going to be really any big deal as long as you guys are aware of it.
Hell, I never busted your ass for it.
Nobody did.
I just told you if you're gonna test them out, take them to the shooting tree.
Yep.
And the only other thing I have to ask is, where in the living God do you come out of Siska, so I can at least be aware of that area and have my deputies watching in case people are incorrectly targeting people coming out of Siska, if you are aware of what I'm saying.
Again, I set up volunteers for you.
Yeah,
You what?
we'll get that figured out.
Okay, so
What
it's
I was
not
saying
set
was
yet?
just sent me to Sisika for a month.
Yeah, just maybe let
We can figure
Barker
out,
go
please
up
let
there
me
and
know.
revisit again, just see how he likes it up there. And
This is horrible.
Just saying. I mean, I'm used to it. Just send me to Sisika for a month. I'll come back. I'll be fine.
I mean, I already volunteered as tribute over in another state and got stuck for a brief
I remember
moment.
that.
I'll escape it. It's no problem. I'll figure it out.
I
As
just
for
don't
the,
listen to them damn crocodiles.
As for the list that I had set down after that would be any questions that you or Chief Justice Genevieve has any questions for us?
The only thing that I would ask is on that ordinance that you was gonna modify, just shoot over what you was gonna change on it to me, so I can give it a read over before I give it the okay. But I don't see any problem with it.
All right, that's not a problem. I can send that in a telegram for you.
Perfect.
Oh, you go ahead.
No, I was gonna say that it sounds like everybody was on the same page with pretty much everything else.
Mm-hmm. If I can, one more thing as well. I know this is a sheriff meeting, not a Pinkerton meeting, so I respect that.
Yeah, but you still work with us.
Please get those ordinances that you want in immediately on a flyer and start putting them out. Because if I get people coming to us being like, oh, there's a corrupt lawman, they're bullying me, they're doing all this, they're targeting me, they're doing all that, and I find out it's just a person or a sheriff or a deputy who just hasn't put a notice out yet saying, like, look, you cannot drag this animal into town, I am not going to be a happy agent at the end of the day. That would be a huge waste of my time.
But that means I get to see your pretty face come to my office, now don't I?
Yep.
Damn.
Just get them out as soon as you can, and it'll make everyone happy, hopefully. If you need people patrolling areas, Genevieve might be able to fix me on this, but you probably could rely on the agency to do so if you need help. I'm not opposed to doing that, at least. If you need help patrolling an area, if you need help finding people, I'm more than happy to do so.
That actually could be quite useful.
Mm-hmm. So I heard you were talking about numbers earlier, and if you need numbers, you've got the agency behind you. So.
Yeah, especially just covering some of the areas, because, like, can't be in Blackwater all the time, just like can't be in Strawberry all the time, because that's one hell of a county I got to take care of.
Yep.
Yeah, if Chief Justice and Governor aren't opposed to it, I may definitely take you up on that.
As long as, the Pinkertons can still cover the people that they need to cover whenever they are awake in state, I have no problem with you guys requesting assistance from the Pinkertons or the Marshals. We want all the departments to work together if possible. We understand that, you all operate differently and you all are your own entities. But the primary goal of this entire organization is to keep the citizens of the state safe. And make sure that, we're not diving into a lawless land. So with that being said, as long as, you're not interfering with what their duties are and vice versa, I have no problem. Just make sure you communicate it and make sure you still kind of abide by, the expectations we have when it comes to, responding to calls and incidences.
Yes, ma'am.
My one thing that I will point out as well is that, of course, my number one duty is to protect the governor and his wife. And that goes, like, I don't care if there's a crazy serial killer on the loose who kills babies. If you request help and I'm guarding the governor, your answer will 99% chance be a no, unless he tells me to go do that specifically.
And that's completely understandable.
And I will put out that if I am under, so say I work with Knight here, if he requests me, I will be under your jurisdiction. I'm not going to put myself above you. I will listen to what you need me to do, and I'll go do it. That's it. But if I'm working on my own bias, if I'm on my own agency, then, that's all me.
Yes, sir.
That's all. That's all I request. Thank you.
I think we can definitely work with that. I have to say, this seems like it was a very productive meeting.
I agree.
I do have one last thing.
All right.
Something that I'm requesting all my judges do is to get to know their sheriff's departments that they assist with and serve. I would like them to be able to do at least 2 ride-alongs with a deputy or sheriff, just so they can at least see, A, what you all do on a daily basis, but also get to know how the department's going to function, and see kind of, the enforcement of the laws that they are here to help guide us on, essentially. So if you have a judge that is coming to you asking for a ride-along, do not think that they are crazy. That is something that I am expecting them to do for their training.
Yes, ma'am. And may I ask one thing of you?
Mm-hmm.
Do the judges feel comfortable with at least a sidearm?
I was about to ask the same thing.
Most of my judges are pretty comfortable. I mean, Mr. Borsay of Lemoyne, I know he has firearms. Arthur Hershey, I know, is very well informed with firearms. Mr. Josephat, are you comfortable with firearms yourself?
Oh, I do not mind making that dog bark, honey.
Excellent.
I think I'm the only one that's like, firearms.
Well, then...
But
Chief
even I have one.
I can respect that, Chief Justice, but the reason I ask is especially on a ride-along if things were to go south. I know I speak for myself, and I'm sure the other sheriffs. We would do everything in our power to protect the judge, but in the event that we were injured and unable to do that, we would want to know that the judge was capable to at least defend himself with a sidearm.
Most appreciated, sir. Yes, sir.
Hey, as long as that's the case, I have no issue in the world with it.
I cannot say that my aim will be too true, but the blast from the sawed-off will be probably larger than me, sir.
I wouldn't expect any of the judges to help with, say, a robbery or anything like that. It's more to defend yourself and protect yourself. We can handle ourselves. We want to make sure you're protected, though.
Most of the judges, if a robbery occurs, I will tell them to stay back and just find someplace safe at that point.
If a robbery happens and a judge is with me, I'm going to tell him to go sit in the office and wait for a bench trial.
Hell yes.
Mr. Barker knows how this game is played, sir. Yes, sir.
Would that be a conflict of interest if the judge was the witness to the robbery, though?
Technically, yes.
That's why I said just sit in the
I
office
would
and
say
wait.
it would depend on the judge and the jurisdiction, sir, but if it's in West Elizabeth, we'll be okay.
Because I think we had that issue once before, where there's our lawyer that was, caught up in 2 robberies. We had probable cause for it, and he wanted to bitch about it.
Well, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah,
that
I think
lawyer.
you remember that one.
But as far as the ride-alongs, like, they are there to observe. They're not there to interfere. They will support you in your in the businesses that you all have to take care of. But if there is an occurrence or a highly volatile situation, they will not be in the nitty-gritty of it. They will be stepping back and allowing for you all to do your jobs, and they are just simply there to observe. They're not there to get you in trouble, and they're not there to tell you how to do your job. They are simply there to just witness what their deputies that they help serve and the sheriffs that they serve as well go through. When I was still just a judge learning, that was something that I ended up doing, because at one point I had overstepped and gave a deputy, or no, it wasn't even a deputy. I had made a comment to a certain bounty hunter, but because I had overstepped bounds out of my frustration of being kidnapped, the deputies and the bounty hunter actually ended up grabbing the wrong person, and it got me in trouble. And I did ride-alongs with I believe I think it was Frank Warner I actually did ride-alongs with, to appreciate the things that you all have to go through on a daily basis, because I had no idea, honestly, whenever I was brought in as a judge. So that's something I wanted to instill in my own judges is, we need to appreciate what our law enforcement does and know exactly what they're doing and how they're doing it. So whenever citizens do come to us with concerns, we can verify that that is the proper procedure.
Excellent.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm well agreed with it. And I will love to have Richard come on a ride along with me. I do know he does have weapons, and he is a good shot too, if need be. So I know he will at least defend himself.
I have had to only do it one time, and it was not pleasant. Governor Taker, whenever he owned the gun store, had sold me a pump shotgun, I believe it was.
That is correct.
I didn't realize how easy it was to possibly decapitate someone with that. So that was the first time I ever fired a gun, and I think that was actually the last time I ever fired a gun.
I remember that.
Yes.
Yep. It was right over there near the store, actually, wasn't it?
Yep.
Yep. Because a local attacked me.
A local attacked you when I was coming into town, and I was heading into the office, and then all I heard was a shot, and you were like, I didn't do it, and ran off. Most of my judges are pretty capable in defending themselves, and they all are smart enough and have enough common sense to know not to get involved.
I have a very, very unique selection of judges this go around that are actually very diligent and very knowledgeable and willing to do the job properly, versus the lawyers, lawyer that I had that was not so much.
I will tell you this now, Miss Genevieve, and no disrespect, but if one of your lawyers walks up to me and demands reports from me, I'm going to put a book in his face and tell him to go speak to you.
That's fine. That's perfectly
Oh,
fine.
I'm just gonna straight up throw him out of my office.
I mean, when I throw a book in someone's face, they're gonna go flying back out that door. All I got to say.
If I ask them to leave nicely and they don't, I'm just gonna throw them out of my office at that point.
Chief Justice, I can't promise I won't hold Tom and to the back of a donkey and send him back.
Once I get lawyers, because right now my judges can also act as lawyers if need be. I'm not going to have any law enforcement doing prosecutions or defenses, just because you all have enough that you already have to do, and court proceedings are a little bit different than, just plain, black and white, guilty, not guilty. There is a bit of a finesse that comes with being in a court case. And so my judges go through training to be able to defend and prosecute. So I'm not too concerned about hiring lawyers at this point, but if I do, trust me, it'll be a lot more lengthy of a process than what I got before, because I will not have another lawyer that gets put on the stand and actually lies under oath. So that's not happening.
Excellent. I can definitely work with that. If the lawyers will be polite and professional with us, then I know all the sheriffs will give them the exact same. But if they come in and act a fool, then I'm going to make them look like a fool. And I'll just apologize to you right now, Chief Justice.
Oh, I'll make them look like a fool with a smile on my face. That'll make them even worse.
I mean, if they're going to act like a jackass, I'm going to tie them to one.
Oh, Silo, yes, physical can be fun, but you can also hurt someone pretty deeply with words, too.
Yeah, I'm definitely not the most educated individual, but I understand well enough to read and write, do some basic mathematics, and I understand the law. But, God rest his soul, my daddy would have whooped my ass if I'd have showed up somewhere acting a fool. And now he'd be rolling in his grave, and he'd probably haunt me till the day I died just so he can whoop my ass when I join him.
Well, I'd say this was a pretty good meeting, and we'll count on doing it again next month, about probably around this time, towards the end of the month. And, of course, if you guys need anything in the interim, you can get a hold of Justice King or myself, either one. But we'll try to do these every month, and I think this was good for us.
I agree.
I think Grail took a very hard nap, so I don't know when he's going to be awake again.
Yeah, we'll see.
Well, it is unfortunate. I've got such great company, but I do have to depart.
Understandable.
All right, just go have fun.
I'll let you out the front here.
Oh, let me give you a government key before you head out.
Everyone's complimentary government key.
What was your ID card again today?
34. Oh, thank
that
you
way
so
you
very
can
much.
get in and out of the government building. If you're ever here by yourself, just make sure you lock the doors as you leave.
Absolutely, thank you so much. Lovely evening to you all. I'll see you soon.
Mm-hmm.
Have a safe
Take
trip
care,
out.
Judge.
Y'all too, thank you so much.
May I speak with Tinker and Genevieve once we're done here as well.
Who are those people that's standing outside?
Marshall. I think one of them's a marshal. That looks like
Let me guess.
Porter, but I'm
That's
never
Porter.
sure.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
that's
Porter.
Porter.
That's Porter.
I don't know who
Maybe
the other one
William?
is.
Is that William?
It might be
One
Porter
of
and William
them's
out there
Porter.
talking.
I think that's
No.
Porter and Benji.
Oh, all right.
Maybe.
Not sure.
I guess I better head back towards West Elizabeth.
Have a safe ride. Please avoid murder kitties, apparently.
No,
Yeah,
West
he's on West
Elizabeth
Elizabeth,
doesn't
it's
have.
No. West
Elizabeth has
Elizabeth.
murder kitties.
We have one. They have one murder
One.
kitty, and it's
One.
by the ranch.
Yep.
Yes.
Head headed out
By
towards
my house.
Manzanita
Actually,
on the
Tall
road.
Trees has 2 in there. I know where 2 live in Tall Trees.
I've
so
never seen a
Yep.
murder kitty in
I
tall
have.
trees.
I have.
She is correct. I have
I'm-
seen them hunting up there a couple of
Well,
times.
New Hanover is also where you've got to worry about murder kitties just because of Ennisburg.
Mm-hmm. There's usually one right there in the middle of the damn town.
Sometimes, but I've
Roof cat is roof cat.
essentially, well, I've more essentially found more near the frickin' track, more up north in the forest as of late.
Roof cat's roof
'Cause-
cat. We don't fuck with roof cat.
Yeah, because I found 2 yesterday, and then I almost get mauled by 1 today. So
Roof Cat will jump off roof onto you and then it's just over
Yes.
from there. Because they're heavy.
I've seen a murdered kitty inside the post office once.
God, that scared me too. I was like, I want to go in and
I
touch my
climbed-
telegrams.
I climbed on top of the crate. I'm like, wait, is that? No, it's not on the roof. Where are you?
If I may
And
for a
then
moment as well.
Go for it.
Yes, sir.
Tinker,
Yeah.
Calvin requires your
All right.
audience, I suppose you could say.
Send him on in.
Oh my
Ooh.
god.
Oh, Lord.
What the
That'll be
world?
fun.
Who in the
Oh
world?
no.
The hell?
Staying in. So good.
He ran across the damn lantern.
Oh, that looks painful.
Alright.
Yeah, that's not good.
I'm going to be locking this door for the time being.
Yeah, that might be a good
Hunt, are you
idea.
coming in?
He hit the lantern, is what it was.
Oh.
That's why
For
the
the
desk caught
time
on
being,
fire.
this will be locked since that happened.
Didn't know you can explode a lantern with your horse. Okay.
I guess maybe
Well,
it knocked it over just
That's
right.
that's a fun bit of information for all of us.
Yep.
Yep.
Well, I'm gonna take it up towards West Elizabeth. I need to go get these keys put away.
All right, Silo, you be very safe on your ride back.
I'll probably be heading up that way too. Take this one home because she's getting tired.
Well,
Yeah.
maybe you ought to ride together then.
I'm sorry, this took longer than expected until I know you 2 were spending time together.
That's fine.
Yes, thank you for coming. We appreciate your time, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
It's no bother. After all, you know, I'm a deputy.
All right. Are we all done here?
Yeah.
Y'all be
believe so.
careful.
Come on,
Respectfully, Tinker now has some meetings to attend to, so I will need everyone to vacate, of course, other than
To keep it around.
Fair enough. Howdy.
Howdy, boys.
Howdy.
Evening.
Hi, Runa.
Oh, hey. I'm gonna run down and take a nap at the deputy's quarters. Y'all be careful.
You mean?
Oops, ran it a little too fast there. Well, that was a hell of a fun meeting. I love the back and forth and the little bit of tension here. Does make it a a lot of fun, a lot of enjoyment there, and you know, it really adds to the story. So definitely gonna have to send Mr. Tinker a thank you. And you never know what the response will be to some things, so I love that little bit of unknowing. But well, y'all, I'm gonna have to jump out for just a little while, so I'm gonna take me a little nap here in the bush. But I hope y'all enjoy this little upload video. Sorry I didn't do it live, but especially being a meeting, I didn't want people trying to tune in and potentially do bad things with information they learned. So, but as always, y'all be safe out there. I'll catch you on the next live. Have a good night.